Hello, I'm your host, Giselle Gamby, and this is the Intuitive Pull podcast. First of all, I want to say thank you to the community of listeners because there have been breathtaking ripples that have occurred from listening to this podcast, and I'm excited to be witness of many, many more. This year, I'm dedicating this podcast to the theme of 2023 being a breakthrough year. No matter how successful, fulfilled, and happy we are, and the truth is that sometimes we're not, we all have thresholds we've placed on ourselves on how loving and powerful we've allowed ourselves to be. Following the intuitive pull does not negate our vulnerabilities and our humanness. Oftentimes, following the intuitive pull asks us to see our blind spots and to bring what has been in the shadow to light. And when we do, we can see that being fully human is in fact the precursor to remembering that we are infinitely greater than this mortal body, that we are infinitely connected beyond this time and space, not in spite of our humanity, but because of the intricate weaving of all aspects of our precious humanity. When we take responsibility and remember that you have the power to decide what you choose, and we fuse that with a letting go of control and surrendering into the plans that you didn't make, there is nothing that you cannot transform. My wish is that you see that the deeper you go, the greater your wealth in all ways, and that authenticity is always profitable. Have fun! Hello, beautiful Intuitive Pull community. This is a special episode. I'm very grateful that I can share it with you. I've been given permission by someone I've been coaching since September last year. We were on a threesome call with another beautiful woman who I've mentioned many times on this podcast, Susie De Jong, who wrote the book, The Untangling. This is Debbie Radosavljevic's story. Debbie gave me permission to share the recording of our three-way conversation that we had on Friday. Thank you, Debbie, for your generosity, for your radical generosity, because I know that your sharing is going to have an impact. I know it's going to disturb people in the best of ways. And so I'm deeply grateful for allowing me to share this with the Intuitive Pull community. So a little bit of background on who Debbie Radosavljevic is. Debbie was born in former Yugoslavia. She experienced the Balkan War in Bosnia when she was 17 years old, is actually when it started in 1992. She had big dreams and visions, as you'll learn. She wanted to become a teacher, but with the Balkan War, she and her parents and siblings left home. One day, they took blankets, Mum locked the door, like as if they were going to go back home. But that never came to pass. They lost everything. Over the next while, they were transported by trucks to different places, and for 6 months, she slept on a floor of a school, eating 1 meal per day. At this time, she was also separated from her brother and father, who were taken in a separate truck, never really knowing if they would see them again. Thankfully, they did. And they kept on being moved to different towns as the war progressed. And Debbie met her first husband 3 years on. When she was 20 years old, she fell pregnant. And when her daughter was 7 months old, her husband was killed in the war. So the next month, she left that town in the middle of the night with her 7-month-old daughter alone, and traveled to another town and eventually became a refugee in Serbia. And she was in that refugee camp for 3 years where she shared a room with 2 other families. She told me stories around sharing 3 toilets for 150 people, 5 showers for 150 people. She found a job. She worked as a pizza maker from 5 p.m. till midnight. And then for 3 months, she decided that this wasn't going to be her life anymore. And she would take the train that would leave at 2:30 in the morning with her daughter Vicky in winter and go to the embassy. 3 months later, after traveling to the embassy so many times, she was called and she had a choice that she could either become a permanent resident in Canada or in Australia, and she came to Australia in March 1998. She also met her second husband, Zach, that year, and they had a son called Stefan. And more recently, they own a butchery called Zach's Continental Butchery in Regent Park, Brisbane. She's an RTT therapist. She's a coach. She's a speaker, as you will hear. She's an incredible woman that I love dearly and am very blessed to share life with. I know you will enjoy her story. She's one entertaining woman. She loves to have quite a few F-bombs, which makes us laugh every time. Please enjoy Debbie and let her sharing disturb you in all the best of ways. Enjoy. So, over to you, Debbie.
Oh my God.
Come on, Debbie, it's just us.
Yeah, I know, it's just us.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to remind you, by the
Yes.
way, I think it was Penny that said this, the power isn't in the story, the power is in you.
That was with me the whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The power is in you. The story is just...
It's interesting when you said like to share my story.
Yeah.
And this morning I finished it. I just couldn't, I had to take time to sit with it.
Yeah.
If it makes sense.
Yes.
But I have a few pages that I brought.
Excellent.
Because I'll tell you something. When I drive out of the driveway at work and I turn into one street, there are traffic lights and there's a fucking tunnel. And I love that tunnel. And I now realize why I love that tunnel. I need to take photos in that tunnel. I don't know why. I need to take a photo in that tunnel. The photo of me has to be taken in that tunnel. I know. I always liked the tunnel, but I didn't know why. Last Friday when I said to you guys, oh, it's like what Susie did. Like sort of, if I have to present myself some way, it would be like sort of in a jokingly. I wasn't serious. But it would be like what Susie did and Jason. And one night I finished work and I'm waiting there on traffic lights and I'm like, yeah, but of course, if I ever done anything, I need to walk out of that tunnel and then start speaking. I need to be in the tunnel to walk out, to represent everything I've been through. And that's why I could never connect why I like the tunnel. It was really like, oh shit. I had goosebumps in the car, just sitting there waiting. I was like, actually, I can see myself doing that.
Huh.
If I ever do anything, it's going to be in that tunnel.
Because what is the tunnel, like, just be explicit here, what does the tunnel represent for you?
Tunnel would be like a darkness.
Yeah.
And I'm going into light. And I feel that I am in light now. That I'm not in darkness. I'm not going to say I'm not. There are parts of me probably and that are connected to the story. That was big what Penny said. Story doesn't have the power. You give the story. You are the power. That really hit me. I don't know, it was big. Anyway, that Friday was really big about everything. About everything. So I feel really sense of freedom. And I'm not saying that I'm complete in that. And I said to Susie, when we had our get together, my intuition was telling me, go back to Magician's Bay, the book, and go back and go back. I'm like, fuck, I've listened to that book 3 times. I read it once. But this was different. This time when I listened to the audio, it was different. I've recognized my shit again. I've recognized how, even though I thought I knew, but I didn't, obviously. If it hit me that hard this time, so I was in my illusion. The power of circumstances. Now, when I think about things for the past, this week, I've been watching my thought pattern. It's going. It's like if I think I don't have time or something, I just go, oh, fuck, it's bullshit. Like I stop right there. I don't feel the heaviness of circumstances. I really don't. I really don't.
That's a miracle, a shift in perception.
It is. And now I said to Susie, I was drawn. I was like, my intuition was telling me, go back to magician's way. I was like, why? But I needed to hear that clearly when he was explaining about focus, about his swing. And I was like, fuck, I'm in swing circle all the time if I do this, and I do. And then it was just clear. And I felt really good this week. Really good. That it was big. It was big that I felt so free to, I heard there's a guy that is just buying butcher shops. And he has 2 already. And I heard he wants a 5th one. And I said, fucking send him my way, to one of the guys. He goes to me, is it for sale? I said, it will be. I said, everything is for sale if the price is right. He goes, are you advertising? I said, no. I said, but if he comes here, I'll sell it to him. And he asked me, what are you going to do? I said, fuck all. And he just laughed. He thought I was joking, but I was so free about, I didn't go away, oh my God, I need that guy. It was so relaxed. And my husband goes, I said, I'll throw the line. I don't know if the fish is going to, He goes, you're not normal, I said, fuck it. Just doing that. Then another guy comes, he's a rep. Like they go and serve every shop, like with all the things we need. They come and take the order. And I asked him, I said, do you actually know that guy? He goes, yeah, he's looking for a shop. I said, do you serve him? He goes, no, but Josh does, the other guy. He said, why? Do you want to sell? I said, I would if he's buying. I would sell it. And then that guy said to me, I said, what do you think we can get for this? Fuck me. I have a fake check on my fridge. It says the amount. And he says that amount. I was like, and that check is from butcher shop. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't have to be, but I had fun. Like I felt free, where before would be like, who is he? Get him here, strangle him. But no, I'm not. Like, it's fun. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And I haven't felt that before. So there was a lot of heaviness is gone. It's like energetically, if it makes sense.
It does. And you're completely illustrating the 2 premises today.
But what you said, I wrote that this morning.
Yeah.
What you said about yourself, I wrote about myself. So I became an agent of loving disruption. That's what I do. That's who I am. Yeah. Because even yesterday I had 2 conversations with the young guy, the little one, where he started taking medication. And I said to him, I'm almost 50 and I don't have medication. I'm not against it. I'm not putting, any shit, but you are young. Don't give your body away that easy. And in that, how he came later and he said, I actually, you made me think. So I disrupted him.
Yes, I love that. Loving disruption.
But from love.
I understand. Can you feel it, Susie? I'm feeling teary.
That's what I did yesterday, from love. I didn't tell him, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. I just explained to him what I said, if you want to know, I can tell you what I know, if you want. You know, like, it wasn't like, oh, I know this, I know that. It was really gentle, kind, kindly loving. And he came back to me and he said, oh, what do you think if I suggested him because he plays rugby. I said, why don't I said, is there any way that you can do more of that? And he goes to me, what if I, instead of tablet at night, do exercise? So I disrupted something because I explained to him about dopamine and serotonin and, you know, so he came back to me. He was lovingly disrupted. There was.
Can I just say something? Like, you're a radar in that moment. Like, the fact that you collect these people, you're a radar.
I had a smile when you were talking about that.
Yeah. Even the man that wants to buy the 5 butcher shops, you're a radar. You're tuned in.
My husband said, oh, it's a wrong location. He's looking more towards the city. I said, oh, fucking shut up. Who cares? I said, this is perfect. He's got everything here. This is what he wants. All he needs to do is change the sign, and off he goes. And he was quiet. Why would I think like that? Who wouldn't like my butcher shop if he knows anything about butcher shops? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't he? Because areas where he is, the rent is more expensive. I'm thinking. I didn't tell that to my husband.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you? You know, it's a business that's sustained, goes well for 13 years. It's not like we are there from yesterday. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I'm not going there. Shut up. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything. Nothing has to be, but maybe this freedom that I could have fun with it was born from all this from last week.
Yeah.
Which I'm loving. I'm loving this space.
Yeah. Yes, you've had a huge week.
Huge week.
You are free.
Honestly, but look what I wrote. Like, I started this, you can tell by different color of the pen. I started this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I wrote. And I wrote, and I couldn't, like, what would that look like? And I've probably for the first time saw the bigness of my life. Because if I don't know where to start, what a life. So I wrote, there are many ways that I can go about my life, but one thing for sure, my life was never dull, and never was. That's why it fucks me up. Because there's so much that if you skip things, nothing makes sense. But to me, that's why if I would go there and want people to know about me, my life, how I came where I am to this point, there's so much. There's so much, and that's why that thing was born in me. Oh, it's not that important. That's why I had huge struggle with my life. You know, as a story or as a spoken thing. It's just like too much. It's just too much. And I understood the bigness of my life. And I understood, Hades, what has my life really qualified me, uniquely qualified me for? Fucking everything. I've been everywhere. The only thing I wasn't was a hooker. I mean, really.
Still time.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? And I laughed when I had that thought coming. I was like, oh my God, like, you put me in a bush, I'll survive. You know, you give me nothing, I'll make something with food or anything. Like, because I've been through that. I know how to get something from nothing. When you asked to share my story, it was for 2-3 days, I was like, I can't be fucked. I can't go into that. But actually, if you want, I wrote some things.
Yes.
You might like it. I don't know, but I'll try to go fast.
Don't go fast because I want to digest every word.
So I wrote, there are many ways that I can go about my life, but one thing for sure, my life was never dull. Never was. Born in former Yugoslavia, I had relatively normal childhood, like all of us. I was the youngest sibling, a rebellious one, free-spirited, always doing life my own way, which is true. In 1992, our country was hit by a war and we lost everything. I mean, everything. Our family was torn apart for some time and we kept moving from place to place. Now, to shorten all that, it was like, oh, I've got to skip all that shit. And then years passed and our only job was to stay alive. I once had a big vision for my life, finished uni, become a teacher. Really, that was my wish, yeah. And moved to a bigger city. Falling in love and getting married so young was never a part of my plan, but it happened. 6 months into my pregnancy, my mother became ill, and 2 weeks later, she was gone. I was devastated. My daughter was 7 months old when my first husband was killed on duty. A month after his passing, we left in the middle of the night. Waiting on the side of the road to be saved, I felt I had enough of this madness. We ended up in Serbia in a refugee camp where we shared the room with 2 other families. Deep down, I thought I didn't sign up for this. I had a vision of my new, better life. Taking things into my hands, 3 months later, we arrived to Australia. Australia was a dream come true, yet the fear of the unknown came back, sleepless nights, anxiety about the future. Until then, I have never realized what arriving in a new country, not able to speak the language, not knowing anyone would really mean. I felt like a child trapped in an adult body, learning to talk again. I knew that my daughter felt my pain, and I knew that I had to become a parent to us both. I refocused all my energy on my new vision, a new life that I dreamt of. We moved to Sydney and started afresh. From here, the future looked bright. I met a beautiful man whom I married, and our son was born 2 years later. Life was good. That was a big, capital. Life was good because in my mind, then I felt saved. That's why I wrote life was good. I'm out of that. But beautiful memories were made. Years were passing, the children growing, and we seemed to have it all. God, what a story, a good story, isn't it? I wrote that.
You're gorgeous.
The power is not in the story. I give the power to the story. Tremendous strength, wisdom, and resilience was born out of this pain, out of this story. I learned to look at life as a gift, to find blessings in every challenge. I had a gift that was born out of pain. I embraced myself on the journey of self-discovery, finding that, and then I put this as an extra, my unique life experience qualified me to naturally empathize with people's pain given my background. For the longest time, I couldn't talk about what I do. I know that what I do helps people see that there's always a way, a solution, a path to freedom, freedom that comes from within. Yeah, that's me. Then I wrote, I comfort the distressed and I distress the uncomfortable.
Oh, can you say that again?
I comfort the disturbed.
Yep.
You can go disturbed, maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds better. Distressed, no, disturbed.
Yep.
And I disturb the uncomfortable. That's what I do.
Wow.
What that looks like in the world is to be a presence for people, a calm presence, a loving, caring presence. What I had yesterday. This was written this morning. A calm presence, a loving, caring presence, that they feel safe when they are with me, that they feel comforted when they are feeling unsettled in themselves and their lives. It is also a willingness to poke a hole in things that aren't true. This is for me, but that people are trying to make true by holding on to the stories they tell themselves. This was mine. So I became an agent of loving disruption. Loving and caring in sense that they feel comfortable enough with me, that they are willing to be disrupted in my presence, and disruptive enough like he was, that things finally fundamentally change or end. That's it. You see, my past is I'm done with giving that story. I really am. Yeah, that story made me. You know, like Susie said, I remembered Susie's words. Like, I'm done with that shit. And that's really how I felt this week. Thank you, Susie. Like, I'm fucking done. Yeah, I'm here. That's what matters. I survived, obviously. You know, all that shit. Yeah, it made me what I am. Yeah, I can see it as my shadow, beloved. You know what I mean? Like, because of that shadow that I love, I have power now to move through life. I love it. I love actually what happened to me. I mean, terribly. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say it in front of everyone, but I actually fucking love that I had pain in my life. I love it because my mother used to say, God is not going to present you anything that you can't handle. It wouldn't be given to you. And I think that helped me a lot through life. Or she used to say, but there is a Chinese proverb about that I've discovered recently. Like, you can't control all the birds flying over your head, but you can control the ones that are going to nest in your hair. How good is that? Like, that speaks to what all this shit about stories and all this week is like. What am I letting to nest? Like what was Susie saying? Like, I'm done with that. What am I gonna nest in my head? What am I gonna allow? All of us. It goes for every single one. Yeah, our moms and dads were, you know, my father was what he was. But his lack of ability to show love made me, honestly, a strong woman. Made me to know that I can give it to myself. Fuck you. You know, I don't need you to be loved. My sister actually said to me on Tuesday, she said, you never craved their love. I was the one craving love. I said, oh, fuck it. She said, you were like a duck. You would just go off. You know, you didn't crave for it. You didn't plead for it. You didn't cry for it. And I didn't. I really didn't. And that his ability of not giving love made me a better parent. Because I love my kids not from sick feminine. I love my kids with love of support that I know that I'm raising a child that can sustain himself on his own in life. You know what I mean? Don't be dependent on me. I might not be here. I remember telling my daughter something in the kitchen and she didn't know how to cut it. And she goes, oh, I'm done with that. I said, no, you fucking come back because I might not be tomorrow here. You got to learn this. This is basic. Because when I lost my mother, I was 20. I had no life about it, think about anything, you know, what to cook, how things work. Because of the war, our lives were really fucked up. We had no home. So I never had that sense of having a mother. I had to be my own mother. And I knew if I had that, who could I be? You know, that's how I thought. If I had love of my mother, if I had my mother as a support, I could have been this, and that. But actually, no. Because love can be no. You know what I mean? And I remember telling her, like, come back, I might not be tomorrow here. So, and learn that. But like my kids, they were staying home on their own. 12, Stefan was 12. He could take the washing out and put the bedding on and vacuum and everything. It was that sort of, I'm going to equip you as a person for life. Was not from, oh, I love you, baby. Don't do that. My love was different. My love was bigger. And that's why I especially in ayahuasca, I swear, that helped me a lot with my father. I saw that what I was holding on, like that things didn't go how I always thought that if I had his love, I would have been this, or my mother in my life. That's all bullshit. I actually, I'm not gonna say I'm grateful, but thank God for believing that I can handle it. You know, that you gave me the strength for this. I don't need the fucking past anymore. It's there. It happened. I am here. I'm not going there. Stuff it.
You are mesmerizing.
Oh my God.
On every word.
Like with my son, I don't know if I told you, Susie, the other week, he came to work and he hugged me. And he goes, I'm so grateful you are my mother. And I said, oh, I'm so grateful you chose me to be your mother, because he knows about this, you know, all those things. And he said that he was listening something about sick feminine and sick masculine, how parents fuck up kids. And he said, oh my God, I cried, Mom. I'm so grateful you are my mom, because he moved out. Women from our culture, moms, they will call their kids, that for them means a good parent. I'm not a good parent. I don't call my kids. I just love them and I believe that they are fine. And I give them freedom to live their fucking life. They didn't come for me. They came for their life through me. And I know that. And I live by that. And my son realized that. And the hugs and how grateful he is for that. For that realization. I didn't have to tell him that's the best. That's his insight. It's priceless. But that, because my father didn't give me that, look what came out. Me as a parent, fucking brilliant. Serious. I wouldn't have done it without lack of that. So past serves us. If we, like in your meditation, give me your past. That's what it is. That was brilliant. Yeah, give me your past. I forgot.
Your past so that I can change your mind about it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I think that meditation was also, like, I was moved by that meditation in all this shit that I had to write. I didn't have to write. I can talk about it, but it goes everywhere, you know. But yeah, like, past is we should be grateful for our past. It's brilliant. I know the pain. I know we all had pain. We all had struggles. But freedom is born out of that. Freedom.
I see so much freedom in you now.
Yeah.
It's just radiating out of the screen.
I really feel it. I really fucking feel free from everything. I really feel freedom. That's why I said, what do you want me to talk about? There's so much. You know, like in life, and like when I look at my life now, like it sounds bad, but it served the purpose for who I am today. And if we all start looking like that, there's no pain in it. There's only appreciation. I know. Pain is pain, but mine is bigger. Well, pain is there to give us the gifts, like I wrote. The gift, we all have it. And it's always born from the pain, out of the pain.
There's a few things I want to say. First of all, that premise that we spoke to last week when we were all together, Susie, everything was perfect as it was. That is so here. So everything was perfect as it was, and I'm here now, and that's what matters.
Zach and I, we were doing gardening, and he said he can't do something. It can't be done. I said, fuck that. It can be done. You know. And I said, you do it like this. And I'm like showing him how to. And he looks at me and he got the shits. He goes to me, why is everything with you? Why does everything with you has to be competition? I've never seen it. I never saw myself like that. And I went and sat outside. We stopped working. He went inside, had a shower, stopped working, and I was outside. And I'm like, what have I done? What happened? Like, is it really true? Like, but then I went back. That's why I said, back then I was reading Wayne Dyer say, and I knew a little bit, but I knew there was like, I had no YouTube, I had nothing, I had no, just that book, a few books. And I was like, I need to sit with this. And I saw clearly where it came from. And I was not aware of that. It was my need to be seen as a child. And my need, like I was a student. I was the best in the class. I would get A for the rest of the year from maths at the start of the year. My son is on me. He studied physics and maths. But like I just see numbers in my head, But when I would come home and tell that to my parents, Mom would be happy. My father would be watching news like that. Like I fucking came with nothing. Because it wasn't my brother. And probably from that, I always needed like, I can do it. There was in my mind, I was driven by, I can do it. unconsciously, probably, trying to prove something, wanting to be seen. And I saw that when I was 32. I never thought of that before. And then when he pointed that at me, I was like, fuck me, this can ruin my relationship if it's really true. But lucky I was willing to look. So everything that someone tells us or anything, we should be grateful. We can never see ourselves the way others do. We just can't. We just can't.
So Debbie, there's something very, very obvious here. We know that your story doesn't matter, right? What matters now, like it was perfect as it was, and what matters now is that you're here. And yet your story creates a huge amount of connection, and it disrupts people in their own stories, right? Your story creates disruption in order to create freedom.
Yeah.
And I know Susie's going to agree with me here. You have such a presence in your communication. Like the way that you express, even with all the fucks and all the rest of it, is so fucking powerful. That you need to be speaking. You need to be putting yourself in situations where you're in front of people and you're sharing your story so that you disrupt theirs, so that they go to a place of freedom. This is all the stuff that, Warren gets so fired up about, Susie, isn't it? Like we have to end the story.
Mm-hmm.
No time.
There's no time. And how do you end it? You see the perfection in it. That's what you've done. Every moment you've pulled out the perfection of it. So therefore there's no regret, there's no resistance, there's no judgment. And you don't need to live there either anymore. You're free because you've seen the perfection.
Absolutely right.
You need to put yourself in situations where you're speaking to people. That's your next move.
But I always felt that.
You did. There you go.
I did. I swear, watch this shit.
There you go.
I have a microphone that I bought in 2018.
I've got mine upstairs.
And I had a vision that I need to be speaking. I need to. That's why I said to you before, I'm doing that but on a small scale with people that come to me. I mean, it's just, that's why it's a breakthrough year, isn't it?
It is.
Yesterday, also, I saw that lady. Remember when I said to her, oh, I feel like I've been tested, and I'm running away from her. I don't want to be tested. And she left a note, like, just to remind me, she gave it to the boys, that her retreat is in May. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. Like, because she's all about follow the system. There's a system. I'm not a system girl. I'm just fucking me. Live.
You know what?
I talk my experience.
You can go and offer to speak to them. You can be a guest speaker, not a participant, a speaker. That's how
it didn't feel right at all. At all. That's why I said to her, I feel tested. And I love that I'm being tested. You know how, and please, if it wasn't for you and Susie, it wouldn't be like that. Please take it in, both of you. I feel like when I said in December, I've landed home, I am so fucking home. I am so home. Especially last fall when Penny said about the power of the story, and when I watched the replay of myself, I look even a little bit like, I think when I have something, I always want to run away from it. And I sat there in my uncomfortableness, speaking about how I never go first. And I never think that I have value in that there's a value. They're more important. We're all important. We are all important. But I never put myself in we are. It was me on the side.
And I tell you what's come to me just you know, especially here you speak today, when you read out your story, but the revelations that have come to you is just like, you cut through it. That's why I said to Giselle when I first talked about you, is you're the most refreshing person I've ever met, because you're so honest. And it's like, it's not honesty to hurt someone. You say what's true, but you compress time. And I just, like what you said today, if someone heard that in a, you know, as a speaker, you're standing there, you can compress that time for that person where they have that breakthrough like that.
Yeah.
They don't need to go through whatever her name's programs with.
Yeah.
They don't need it. They just need for it to land and really and take it. And that's such a gift.
But that only happens, that's why if someone, remember Susie, when we finished RTT certification, we said, oh, show up and all that. I can't fucking show up and pick the topic I picked, not you. I picked it, not you. And who am I to say, who am I going to serve? Find your niche. I'm more than that. I'm everything. You know, we are all everything. How can you box me? You knew my biggest problem with all that.
Yeah.
How can you make me something just that? I'm not just that.
But we took our knowledge, we got knowledge from it.
We do have a lot of understanding, of everything.
Oh, no, say it how it is, Debbie.
Yeah, but I'm grateful for what came after that, what was born out of that.
Yeah, well,
you know,
you wouldn't have met me.
Yeah, everything serves a purpose, right?
Exactly.
Purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was saying before. Look at it and like, that's why I wrote, I learned to find the blessings.
Yeah.
I learned to find the blessings. So this is true. What I wrote, everything, every sentence.
I just love you so much.
Yeah.
I can't even put it into words.
And I'm so grateful to you, Susie. Thank you.
Oh.
Without you, I wouldn't know Debbie. Yeah.
Big hug.
Oh, yeah.
We're all amazing.
Oh, God.
What a morning. Oh, my God. I'm so grateful.
Same. Always. Always. For everything. Honestly. Especially this crowd that I'm in.
You know, I even feel like I'm more free listening to you. How do you feel, Susie? Do you feel even more free?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just like Debbie can just compress time and just.
A friend of mine said to me once, she said, she's, and I love her for that. And I love that I can love, that I love, that I know now that I come from love. This was the biggest thing. Like, I just come from love, not fucking judgment. I don't care. I really don't give a shit anymore. I just love you the way you are. I don't care. You know, who am I to judge other souls' journey? Who am I? If God gave you that path, let's fucking have fun. Walk it. You know, she said something about something, and I said something, but I simplified it. And she goes, you see, when you fucking say it, I can understand, but I can't understand that lady. Like, and that gave me a little bit of like, ooh, it's true. I now know how to narrow down. I get to the point. Nothing is really hard. We make it hard because we are dragging that bag of past with us. If we start looking at differently and loving fucking pain, loving our pain, fuck it. Life is what stops us? We can be free.
But I want to say, right, because I feel even more free to move. being in your presence. Like I've got the fuck it, why not, right? Fuck it, why not? So I just want to make this explicit for the guys that are going to watch the recording. Is there a freedom? Is there freedom in you, Susie? Is there freedom in the people that are going to watch the recording? Like to say, fuck it, I'm just going to move with this, whatever that thing is, whatever that thing is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then this morning I thought, like, fucking Vix took my money for the website. I'm like, what website? Do I actually have a website? I forgot about it. And it just doesn't resonate anything. And I thought before, like, that's not me before, again, you know, like I'm a different person. I represent different value. My values have changed.
Yeah.
And I might even use this for my website.
I was going to say, you've got everything here. Everything is here for your website. I already saw it.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect as it was. I'm here. That's what matters. We should be grateful for our past. Freedom is born out of that. For the first time, I saw the bigness of my life. I comfort the distressed or the disturbed, and I disturb the uncomfortable. That's your website.
That's it.
That's your website, and your story is relevant. That's what I said. I know that it's in the past, but it does connect people, and it calls them in, right? It calls them in. So your story is actually relevant. It's actually really relevant. The story is so big. It's not vanilla. It's not, like everybody else's story. It's not. It's not. It will call them in, and also your presence can't help but call people in.
And it gives them hope. You give people hope.
Yeah.
You can't buy that.
So Debbie, I just said that, you've given me freedom, you've given Susie freedom. I know the people that are going to watch, there's going to be a freedom to say, fuck it, I'm just going to move with whatever it is. What about you? Like, having communicated all that out, seeing the value of it, have you got a fuck it, I'm just going to move going on for you?
For me.
Yeah, because this wants to move now. Like, there's no...
Yeah, like I said, I said to my husband the other day, universe, I'm ready. Surprise me. I'm fucking open as, like whatever comes, not whatever comes, whatever is, I pull in, I'm going to follow through.
Yeah.
It's just like you telling your story at the start, and I'm listening and I'm putting the pieces, what happened to me, and I'm smiling and I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, and it's big. Like you said, this one is going to be big. This today is going to be big, and it is big, not only for us, honestly, for people who are going to hear this.
I know. So that's why I said I'm going to make it explicit that people can connect with you, to have you come and speak to their... Like, I'm thinking of Olivia, for example. Olivia is a beautiful woman who was in this group before.
Yeah.
Who is director of recruitment or talent acquisition or whatever in a company, in a IT company. Who knows? She might say, come and speak to her people. Come and talk to her people. Who knows?
You see, what I've noticed about myself, and I actually laughed the other day, was when I'm in the zone, when I speak my truth, I don't give a shit about my English. But when I hear it, I was like, oh, fucking hell, Debbie.
It makes
it's part of the charm.
Exactly. Oh, well said. Did you hear that? Say it again, Susie.
It's part of your charm.
It is.
Which I couldn't own before.
You're unique.
Until the other day.
Oh, gosh, what a call.
How beautiful that we were sent to each other.
I don't even know how you found me, but someone was looking after us all.
Soul contracted. That's it, isn't it?
That's it.
That's what we do. We recognize each other, and sometimes we don't recognize. Sometimes it's not a soul contract.
Oh, perfect.
It is. How are you feeling, Debbie?
I'm feeling pumped. I'm on fire. I loved my realizations. I love my radar.
Yes, your radar is on. Yeah. You are that.
You know what I love doing? And I can actually call it meditation. And I'm loving it. I call it let's have my own presence time. That's how I call it at work. Like yesterday I was making chicken schnitzels. Put my earphones and I put some classical music. Just no words.
Yeah.
And I'm just observing. I'm going out, come back. Where am I? Like my thoughts go and I bring them back to me. And I love it. I mean, and I feel, I don't know, I feel energized. I stand 13, 14 hours sometimes on my feet. I come home and I come with a smile. Is that normal? It's not normal. Most of the people, my husband goes, oh, fuck you too much sometimes. And I can talk. Then I feel like I got things to share, and I know for him, he can't handle it. Yeah. So I go outside, I'll write something, or I'll go and open the book and whatever, just a little bit. I mean, in that time that I have when I come from work till I feel sleepy, is not much, but I love it. I'm starting to love it instead of, I don't have enough time. I love my time. Now I'm loving it. I went to Susie's daughter's place. I came home, had a shower, went there, came home, did a little bit of, got myself prepped for work in the morning. And I even read the book. I was like, how is this possible? Because I'm not thinking that I don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm not in that I don't have it. I have it now.
There you go.
It's just different. My perception changed.
Yeah.
When that changes, everything fucking changes.
Yep, that's right.
And it's good. It's freeing. It's really freeing.
Yeah.
I really wish Penny was here today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish Penny was here. And yeah, that was my week. It was big, 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 from being asked to present my story. I went everywhere. And I loved it. I really, really felt love for everything that happened to me. I mean, it's terrible to say that, to love that you lost people you loved. It could be worse. But to say that and really feel it, where life took me, that I loved it, I really do. And I'm grateful. Yeah, if I wasn't asked to do that, I wouldn't go there that deep. I wouldn't.
So I'm gonna say on this recording, if anybody feels pulled, even if they, go, oh my God, if they feel pulled to do what Debbie did, to share your story, to do it and take the opportunity and share it with us on these group calls. That goes for you too, Susie, if you feel pulled. Whoever feels, you don't have to do it, right? But if you feel pulled is what I'm saying. Do it, because look what's happened here.
You know what else I came to realize? And I spoke to Susie about that a little bit, that loving ourselves is the hardest job. We can't love it unless we love everything. We really can't. We can't love it if we don't go in past and love that as well. And we can't love ourselves fully if we are not loving everything. We can't. I felt it this week because of the meditation. Which one was it? Not this one, but the week before, I think. Mm-hmm. Or what happened on your retreat?
Don't be afraid of your intuitive powers the week before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love the way you said it at the start about that space. And I think all this comes from that space.
100%.
And I feel myself when I'm there. I really do. Everything becomes clear. Everything becomes clear when I'm in that space.
I mean, these whole group calls are the space in between, right?
Yeah.
These whole group calls are like a meditation. because it's a container of presence.
It is. When we get disrupted and things finally change.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, guys.
Wow. I didn't expect it to be as remarkable.
I didn't expect to go this way. Honestly, I just thought I'll read this. But when you started with yours, it was just building in me. Because while I was writing, I saw all that in my life. Like, that's why, and I mean, it's so simple. I started looking everything life as a gift. We heard that so many times. We heard it. People use it. But I felt it when I was writing it. I really did. In my process of writing this, I felt it because my pain is a blessing, is a blessing. And the strength I gained and resilience to carry on with all that, it's God's gift, nothing else. And we all have it. That's why I was like, oh, this what I wrote, I can put it on my website. That represents me.
Thank you again, Debbie, for sharing you with us on this podcast. I loved listening to that call again as I edited this episode. Thank you. I feel even freer again. And so for the listeners, I would like for you to pause at the end of this episode. Debbie is an agent of loving disruption. She lovingly disrupts. She has us see that everything was perfect as it was, even being a refugee, even losing her husband when her daughter was 7 months old, living as a refugee for so many years. Even in that story, she shows us that everything was perfect as it was and that she's here right now, and that's what matters. She encourages us to end our stories of pain and suffering and open to a way of seeing our life such that we are grateful for our past. And freedom and purpose is born out of that. So as I said, I invite you to pause and reflect on this really enjoyable and profound episode with Debbie and Susie. Thank you. Hey guys, if you love this podcast, I have 2 requests. Number 1, sign up to the newsletter, which you can find in the show notes. Sharing is one of my superpowers, and there is only so much that I can share through the medium of podcasting. And I have very big plans this year to be radically generous to you. So sign up to that newsletter where you'll be able to receive a whole lot more that I trust will be super valuable to you. And number 2, I'm a massive referrer of the people I love to the people I love. Please share this episode or podcast with the people you love, and let's create some more breathtaking ripples of impact.